Hello, I'm Deborah Sword. What does it mean to own your conflict? I'll outline three meanings that I use, and please let me know of others that work for you. Here's the conflict competence. What you own, you can manage and change. You can't manage and change somebody else, but that doesn't mean you can't have an effect, a positive effect, if you own your conflict. And here are three ways you can do it. But first, I want to tell you of a time I experienced not owning my conflict, but somebody else stepping up and owning it and the effect it had. So I scored a ticket to a movie premiere. There were no reserved seats in a big crowd. The theater was big, but ushers were overwhelmed. I could feel all around me people's blood pressure was rising. There was anxiety over whether we'd get in and where we'd sit. There was some pushing. It could have gotten ugly, but the director came on stage and, with humor and calm, assured us the movie wouldn't start until everyone was seated. And he promised there was a seat for everyone. He told jokes, and from the stage, he introduced people in the aisles who were looking for seats to those who had an empty seat next to them. So he was pointing people to available seats and making jokes. He said, "You with the scarf, I want you to meet this person with empty seats. And if anybody in the audience gets engaged from someone that I introduce you to, I want to be videographer at the wedding." And he hoped that people would become friends with the seatmates before the evening was over. Seatmates with someone that they hadn't known until he introduced them. So we in the aisle looking for seats were acting as if our fear was real. So the consequences were the same as if the theater was oversold. The director shifted our behavior from reacting out of our anxiety to responding like it was a fun experience. He didn't create a new reality. He didn't change the number of seats in the aisle or the number of people looking for seats, but he changed who owned the problem. It was no longer our sole responsibility to find our seats, and we were grateful that he took ownership. Our stress level went down and we had fun. So remember, in conflict, we create our reality from what we perceive to be true, including our own emotional upset. We treat that as real information and we behave accordingly. The film's director owned not just the movie, but the problem. He identified the issue was people's anxiety, not the number of seats in the theater. His calm, self regulated approach changed the tone in the whole theater. He turned competitors for seats into friends of those already seated with just 8 words. "I promise to not start until everyone's seated." So here's how you can own your own problems. First, at the individual level. This is the level of your inner work on yourself, your own self regulation. You own where you look for the problem in your conflict. In conflicts, it's our tendency as humans to rush to solve it. Something is a problem, let's fix it. The Conflict Owner's Manual has been suggesting you look for patterns and scripts you use most often. So to own your conflict, shift your gaze from what you've identified as the problem and look instead at your patterns and your scripts. In conflict, how you define the problem likely won't be the way the other people in the conflict see it. You can't control them. You can control the words you use in your script, and that changes your pattern and that changes the problem. You can't change anyone else. If you obsess about changing someone's behavior instead of your pattern and your script, which you own, and you don't own theirs, you get yourself stuck deeper in unhelpful patterns. Focus on what you own to improve the quality of your ability to self regulate. The second is at the interpersonal level. This is the level you own of how you choose to show up for others. You own what you pay attention to and what you spend your energy on. This is a tough one in the era of endless addictive scrolling. You can spend hours of your time, but very few kitten videos send you into deeper thinking about your patterns, your insights, or new ideas. If your friend, colleague, partner, or family member is trying to talk to you about something important to them while you stare at your screen, you're telling them you don't own your behavior. You make a mistake, direct your attention there. Apologize, you own it. You don't know why someone is annoyed at you, direct your attention there. Be curious, you own it. You haven't done a chore someone requested because those kitten videos aren't going to watch themselves. Direct your energy to the request. You own it. The third approach, the third level, of owning your conflict is doing conflict better in the future level. This is the level where you improve the quality of relationships because you own your commitment to do conflict better, which will improve your relationships. When you organize the information we're podcasting in ways that help you, you're creating your personalized conflict owner's manual. What you pay attention to trains your brain. So, what you do better in the present helps you do better next time. You think about how you think about your relationships, and you use all three levels, all three of these approaches to owning your conflict: your self level, how you show up level, and how you do the work on the quality of your relationships level. You own what you learn so that you grow from conflict experiences. Remember, conflict is data. It's information you learn from. You own that information. You use it on yourself, your inner work, to self-regulate it. At the next level, to how you show up for others. And at the deeper level, your overall conflict competencies. You build your conflict owner's manual, which is your own personal tech support for conflict. If you're uncomfortable with conflict, you may be learning something, uncovering a blind spot, understanding your boundaries in new ways, changing your mind about somebody or something. You're growing in new ways. You're bridging from reacting to responding and diving into deeper ways of thinking about issues. This is scary, but as Tyson says, learning comes with living. Thank you for listening. I hope you find it useful. Please subscribe to our podcast and leave a comment. We love hearing from you.